Hello everyone. In today's video, we will try to explore how we can make Docker container talk to other containers, and also we want to explore how we can make a Docker container talk to the application running on the host machine. For to understand these concepts better, I have created a simple applications with help of Spring Boot Maven. So it uses a one dependency, that is Spring Boot Starter Data JPA, and to connect to a specific database, I want to use the MySQL database. So I have added the driver, a connector for the MySQL. To make this connection happen, we need to make sure that we provide a properties, and I have added the property file for the same. It uses the property as JDBC MySQL connection string, username and password. This simple setup will ensure that if I want to turn on my applications, I must be connected with the MySQL database. Currently, the MySQL database is not running, and if I try to start the applications, it will fail, and it is giving a connection refusal error. The connection, if you look at this, this is failing to connect to the database, and here it is giving a connection refuse error. So to run the application locally, I must start MySQL database. For that one, I have created a Docker Compose file. In this Docker Compose file, I have created one service for the MySQL. So let us try to spin a container for the MySQL. Docker Compose -f Docker Compose up -d, and I want to start this service. I just turn on this service. No, I don't need this. Okay. So now it is creating a container. A very first time when you are starting, if there is no MySQL in your local, if there is no MySQL image in your local, then it will pull that image and it will use this database username. It will create the database with username as demo user and password as password, and it is using this DemoDB database. And the same detail, if you look at it, I have used here. I am using a local host database, demo user, whatever I have mentioned here, demo user, and password as a password, and database as a DemoDB. Now, if I try to turn on my applications, I will not have any problem. So let us see. So now, if you look at it, it is able to establish connection with a database, and my application has been started. So we have seen that running application locally doesn't have any issue. Now, if I want to run the same application into the container, how it will behave? For that one, I have created a Docker Compose file. You can use the same Docker Compose file. For this one, you have to build that Docker, build this application locally. Once you build it in the target folder, it will create this jar, and we can use Docker build command that I have mentioned here. Docker build command, you can use this command to start the applications. By the way, I already have pushed this code into GitHub, and you should be able to find that into the GitHub. So if you go to the GitHub repository cup of Java Tech Docker demo network, you should be able to download this repository. So let us go back again into the applications. So with these, you can build this application locally, right? Once you build that applications, you should be able to start the container with a Docker Compose file that I have created. So here, if I try to, so currently what I have done is I am using the same properties that I have defined into the application.property. So the JDBC URL that it is using is localhost 3306 demo database, right? So let us try to run this application in a container. So docker compose minus f docker compose up minus t and yes. For now, let us try to run not in a detached mode so that we can see the logs. So let us see the logs. Am I running this? Okay, sorry. This application is already running here. I'll stop it. Now again, I will start again. So let us see what happens. So here, if you look at it, it again is failing to connect to the database. What we have done is we have used the local host here, and the container by itself, by default, cannot communicate directly to the local host machine. So that is why what it is giving the same error that we were facing when the MySQL database was not running. It's giving you the same error, and down here it should be able to give you the connection refuse error. I don't see that. I think it is not printing all the logs, but basically it is failing to connect to the database. So we have seen that we cannot connect to the local host app, application running on the local host. So how do I make a Docker container talk to the local host? So Docker is having one alias name, it is Docker host internal. This the alias name, it exposes the local host with the Docker containers. So if I want to make a Docker container talk to the application running on the local host, I should use this property, and that will allow me to talk to the container. So what I will do is I will comment a localhost property, and I will uncomment this property and try to run this container one more time. Let me just prune if the container was running. Docker ps take only one Docker container prune. Then if there is some stopped containers, then that will get deleted. So now I'll go back and I'll do again. I will do in a attach mode. I will run on the attach mode. I'll start this application one more time. So let us see what happens. So now if you look at this, my application was able to connect to the database, and my application was able to start successfully. So with a simple change and with adding a simple alias name for the local host, I am able to connect to the application running on the local machines. So this is how we can make application Docker container talk to a local host. So now what we will do is we will stop all the containers, and we will try to run all the containers together. Let us So I'll stop all the container, Docker container. So all the containers has been stopped, right? I don't see even the stop container here. So what I'll do is I can run both the applications together. What I have done is, if you look at it, I have added the health check for the MySQL containers, and I am telling my host containers to wait until this container starts. So with this test command, it will check this. It will check whether the container is started, and with this condition here, it will wait. My demo host container will wait for demo host Pi network application to start. So let us try to see running both the applications together. So here demo host application is starting, and it is still starting, and that is why this container is still waiting, and it is going to wait until demo host MySQL container is fully started. It's taking a bit longer. So now my demo host MySQL database container is healthy, so it picked up another container and started. So if I look at this, both the applications has been started, and I can check the log for demo host container, and I am able to see that my demo host container has been started. So we were able to explore how we can make a Docker container talk to the application running on the host machine. Now, the another scenario that we can think of is, I have one container running and I want to make another container talk to that container. In our case, we have one container MySQL running on the Docker, and I want this Docker container to talk to another container. So how do I make this happen? So what I have done is, I have created one network, this demo network, and in a Docker Compose file, when I define like this, all the services running on the all the services defined in the same Docker Compose file will be attached with the same network. So in this case, we have got applications, MySQL applications, and another container. Both the containers will be running on the demo network. So how do I allow my network, MySQL container to talk to the another container? It's quite simple. So we have defined the service name here, right? For container, the Spring Boot applications, I have given the name, service name is demo same network container, and the MySQL container, I have given the service name is demo same network MySQL. So the way I can make the MySQL talk to the container, the Spring Boot container talk to the MySQL is, I can use the service name, and I can write it right here wherever I had mentioned localhost into the application property. And uh, what this Docker will do is, it will try to find the container running with this name, and will try in the same network, and will try to connect to that container. So let us try to run this. So what we will do is, we will run both the applications together, because I have defined the health check here, and until the MySQL data container is started, this demo container will not start. So let us try to see whether both the containers are starting or not. Docker compose. Same network up -t. So this will try to run both the containers. Now it is waiting for MySQL container to start. Once the MySQL container is started and it is in a healthy state, then only the same network container will pick it up. So let us wait for a minute or so and see what happens. And now if you look at it, the MySQL container is healthy. So now it has started this container as well. If I check all the containers running, I am able to see that demo network application is also been started, right? And I should be able to see that the database connection will also get established. So here I can see that it is able to connect to a database. I hope I am able to make the concepts clear, how to make the Docker container talk to another container running on the same network, and also how to make the container talk to application running on the host machine. So thank you very much for watching this video.